this is not that I have only said this. Even the World Health Organization has endorsed what I have said, because there is no perfect definition of community transmission as defined by WHO. As far as our cases in India are concerned, we have checked on number of occasions at number of places through random samplings also, and we could not find significant number of people who have got the disease, about whose contact tracing we could not do successfully. So I am again reiterating that we have saved the country from going into the stage 3 of transmission, which is popularly called as community transmission. If I have to hazard a guess, I would say that some of these cities bore the maximum brunt of the international travelers. They have huge slums where it's not practically possible to implement the guidelines of social distancing and lockdown principles in a perfect manner. And then I also have a feeling that people in these cities have not followed lockdown principles quite adequately, and that's the reason that these cities are not performing so well as compared to the rest of the cities in the country. You see, the good thing for India has been that rural India has behaved much more responsibly than urban India, and we saw some of the best examples from panchayats and the village heads training people, educating people, motivating people, ensuring that the guiding principles of lockdown are followed very sincerely and in the most stringent manner in the villages. That's why we have seen the villages did not get affected by corona as we or the whole world had anticipated. While these migrant laborers had returned to their villages, we saw all over the country the villages cooperating in ensuring that these migrant laborers were quarantined outside the villages in primary schools and other places. India's fight against COVID has been very exemplary. This is something which is acknowledged by every Indian and people all across the globe. The World Health Organization has also lauded our efforts. Indians have shown extraordinary determination, extraordinary courage to fight COVID. They demonstrated extreme discipline, and we were blessed with the leadership of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. We could successfully implement Lockdown 1 and Lockdown 2. We, if you can recall, had started responding to the news of a coronavirus earliest in this whole world on 8th of January. We adopted proactive and preemptive strategies. We modified them in a graded manner all through the fight. And today, when we are finishing the Lockdown 2 and entering into the Lockdown 3 phase, we can very confidently say that we have diagnosed the problem. We know the disease. We know where the disease is, where our enemy is, and we have very ably divided our country into red, orange and green zones. Places where we have hotspots, places which are called non-hotspot districts, and places which remain unaffected even now. My concern has always been to catch everyone who has got the infection, to catch the patient very early, to make sure that if someone has a symptom, he is tested, and if he is positive, he is immediately shifted to a hospital or a health center or a COVID care center, so that we do not have unwanted, unnecessary mortalities in the system, because we could not take a COVID infected patient to the hospital or the system well in time. So even if there are more and more of tests, more and more of patients, as long as I can give them the best treatment,
That's right.
cure them and take them back to the homes fully recovered, I am happy about it. And our data speaks, I think, quite well about it. Already 10,000 patients have recovered, they have gone back home, and majority of those who are in the hospitals are recovering well, they are on road to recovery. And when I analyze the data about the patients who are on ventilators or on oxygen or in ICU, I find that less than 1% are on ventilator, between 1 and 2% are on oxygen, and between 2 and 3% are in the ICUs. So my commitment and concern, again I would repeat, is to find out very actively everyone who is infected in the country. We are doing it quite regularly, and we are doing it in all the districts of the country, at least 250 persons per district, and more particularly cases of severe acute respiratory illnesses and influenza-like illnesses in the OPDs, in the hospitals. And I know that there are some states like Karnataka and Odisha where they are doing it more aggressively than the rest of the country. And our National Center for Disease Control in New Delhi is monitoring these testings all over the country. For fighting a disease, you need to have a well-defined strategy. Right now, when we have already finished with 2 stages of the lockdown 1 and lockdown 2, and already 21 plus 18 days, 39 days of lockdown we have already done. It's a huge sacrifice on the part of the people of India. We now need to finish and strategize differentially. So as I had said earlier, there are around 319 districts today in the country where they are thoroughly unaffected. There are 284 districts which are non-hotspot districts, and there are 130 hotspot districts. We need to have very well-defined containment strategies in places where we still have the virus in significant amount. We need to have house-to-house surveys in those areas. We need to seal those areas, and specifically in relation to relaxing the conditions of the lockdown, we need to have this classification whereby, of course, in green zones we can relax a little more. In red zone we cannot afford to relax quite a bit. So there are conditions which for the whole country there is no relaxation, but there is differential relaxation for different zones of the country.
Okay.
That's essential, number one, to take care of the disease in a far more scientific manner, and then also to make sure that we are opening up the economy in a graded manner, in a differential manner, thoroughly, in a judicious way. There can't be denying the fact that some states are performing well as compared to the national average in terms of their doubling rates, and states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh, and of course, I would like to add Delhi to that list. And I think the situation here is definitely a cause of concern for us. We have been continuously monitoring them at all levels. I have been personally talking to the health ministers there regularly. In fact, we had sent central teams also to all these states, and we strongly feel that they also have to start performing well. They are also trying their best, but certainly there is a need for much more attention from the authorities there to ensure that the containment strategies are implemented in true spirit, most meticulously, most committedly, and with perfect precision. We get information from different sources about one particular state, and we have been pursuing the issue with the health secretaries of the state and the health officials, and we expect that everyone will report every case or mortality in the state, because this is in the interest of the states to report everything that is happening there. Otherwise, tomorrow we may be in for a big unfortunate surprise situation which may be beyond control. Our graph has been steady almost continuously. It has never shown a steep hike. It has never shown an exponential rise. Moreover, as you are yourself saying, that we have tested over 1 million people and we have shown only 3% positives. And this is happening in spite of the fact that our guidelines say that we have to test every symptomatic patient. And now, through the revised guidelines in recent times, we are even testing SARI patients, we are even testing ILI patients, and we are testing them even in so-called unaffected districts, even in so-called non-hotspot districts, and of course doing it in the hotspot districts also. I don't think it has anything to do with either the stigma related to the patients or the doctors or the ostracization of the doctors. Anybody who falls sick or who has even the initial symptoms of the disease, because they have been so widely publicized through all possible modes of communication, I don't think that there is even a single individual in the country who is not reporting to the health system. So there is no chance that people with stigma attached to them by the society may not report to the health facility. As far as the number of deaths is concerned, our analysis shows that most of these deaths are amongst the comorbid condition patients. And our endeavor has been throughout to ensure early diagnosis and early transfer to the hospitals. That is why when we get a message about a COVID positive patient from anywhere, we even rush our ambulances from our COVID dedicated hospitals to their homes and bring all such patients to the hospitals as early as possible, because my concern is to ensure that no one dies in this country because he could not avail of the health facilities well in time. Our testing strategy has been devised by ICMR, one of the most respected and prestigious organizations of the country. We have experts from all fields who have formulated the strategy. From time to time, we have kept on revising the strategy, modifying it depending on the needs or the occurrence of the disease in the society. From one lab in the country, we have now a network of over 420 labs in the country. In a day, we are testing almost 75,000 people. We have already done 1 million tests. We have, in fact, plans to test 1 lakh people per day. And we are making sure that anybody who has got symptoms, he has to be tested. Our testing strategy is not vague. It's not about testing everybody whether he has got a symptom or no symptom. We are testing in a very, very judicious manner, and that is why I can very safely conclude that the results speak for themselves. The way India has been able to handle, the way India has been able to ensure that we have a steady curve, these are all indications of a well-crafted strategy. This is a very important subject. It is being discussed at the highest level in our government also. Scientists in ICMR and CSIR also are deliberating upon this issue. And as far as we are concerned, right now we are in a position to participate in the WHO Solidarity trial also. We have got some 1,000 odd doses given to us by WHO, and we will be in a position to use them for clinical trials in some of our patients in some of our states in India. You see, we have always been very large-hearted, and we have always considered the world as one family. There is a strong push from the government to support the industry. As far as this particular drug is concerned, hydroxychloroquine, we have been supplying it to 97 countries of the whole world now, saving some amount for us even if we have a worst scenario tomorrow. Similarly, we are supplying paracetamol to 103 countries of the whole world. And then the government in its exit plan for the lockdown is supporting and hand-holding the industry to improve its production for various drugs, because a large number of drugs are in fact exported to some of the less developed countries of the whole world by India only. India has done so well in the pharma sector. We have been exporting drugs to some of the developed countries also. Our only drawback had been that we had been importing these APIs from countries like China and many other places. But now the endeavor of the whole government is to ensure that we attain self-sufficiency in APIs also, and that's a significant reform that's taking place in this industry right at this moment.